Up next on the Sports Hit List.
They can be great, and they can turn it on at any moment.
I'm going to be honest with you. I shut the game off twice.
The Penguins are like the Cavs, where they have all these offensive weapons that can do it. I think the Penguins, this year mostly, are the best team on the boards playing the puck.
Last night, Pittsburgh, they won 5-3, and I'm going to be honest with you, I shut the game off twice.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about Pittsburgh winning any game, only because I'm a disgruntled Ranger fan. But I think that Pittsburgh played one heck of a game. You had Nashville that was coming strong the whole first period. For the first, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, Pittsburgh came out of nowhere, got the first goal. And then they got the second goal. And I think that's when we both turned it off.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly when I turned it off. But here's one thing I have. That 5-on-3, if you look at Neil's cross-check on Daly, he totally embellished that.
Absolutely.
I've played roller hockey, and me and my friend collided head-on, skating right into each other against the boards, and I didn't even go down that easy.
Really?
So for Daly to react like that, come on, man.
I mean, if you look at a lot of the things that are going on with Pittsburgh, there's a lot of embellishments. I mean,
yeah.
But in hockey in general, if we wanted a segment on prima donnas and the greatest acting awards, we could do that as well.
Yeah, that's another story for
that is another story. You know, Sidney Crosby, but that's a different story. But I mean, if you look at Pittsburgh, they are like the Cavs of the NBA. They're good on all facets. They can be great, and they can turn it on at any moment.
Yeah,
so you have
their deadly offense.
Their deadly offense, right. I mean, look at when it was tied 3-3. You thought all momentum had shifted to the Predators' way. Then you have Gunsel come out of center ice, break away, make 3 defenders look like they were on roller skates trying to skate backwards, cuts through them, and slaps it from the circle over Rennie's shoulder.
He should have had that save.
He should have had that save. Well, I don't know where Rennie was last night. I don't know if it was being in the bright lights. I don't know if it was the fact that he was on, he felt pressured because there was no real defensive alignment last night, because you had all of this offensive rush by Nashville. But where really was their defense?
Good point.
I mean, you had all this offense by Nashville. You had Pittsburgh on their heels the whole game. You had Matt Murray play an excellent game, and I think he's an excellent goalie. I think he's coming into his own form. The last 2 playoffs, he's come into his own form, and he's shown that he can be an elite goalie in a couple of years. But on top of that, you only shoot 11 times on goal.
And you score 4 goals.
4 goals. I'll show you the 4 horsemen, the 4 goals. How is that possible? And where was the defense? Now, some of them you can blame on Rennie, because as a goalie,
especially the 4th one.
Especially the 4th one, because if you have ever played hockey or have you ever seen a goalie in form of playing hockey, they pull up in front of the net to cut off any circle that a sniper has to make a shot. It makes your body look bigger, and the net, which we all see is pretty big in itself, makes it look a lot smaller.
Yeah, the angle's cut off.
Thank you. That's perfect example. That's what I was trying to look for. The angle gets cut off. But he gave up. He pulled out I don't know if he was caught on his toes, as they say, but he came out too slow, and before he knew it, the goal was over his head.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you. I don't want to agree to this. I was going Nashville all the way. The way they played this whole Western Conference so far, they've showed they were strong. I think when Filia went out with the broken femur, Fiala. I'm sorry, I'm not good with European names. I apologize. I'm Irish. I think when he went down with the broken femur, I think that kind of the momentum started shifting for them, and was more on Pekka Rennie, and he was doing well, but he was not there last night. And I think with the way Murray's playing, I think that's what's making it so strong for them.
Yeah, don't forget Johansson also got injured.
Right.
Their number one center.
You're right.
That
Absolutely.
also had a big impact. He was their leading point scorer and still is technically.
Yeah. So you take those two players out of the equation. I mean, you got some good weapons, but who do you really have?
I mean, well, Sissons, especially him and Arvidsson.
Right.
Well, especially against St. Louis. No, not St. Louis. Against who'd they play in the conference final again?
The Sharks? No, was it the Sharks, I believe?
No, Sharks lost to Edmonton first.
That's right.
Anaheim.
Anaheim. Thank you. Anaheim.
He came into his own that series. Now, I had a little bit of conflict whether or not I thought he was going to continue this, but he helped them get past Anaheim. Johansson seemingly went down at the worst possible time, and they still won 2 games against Anaheim, so that just goes to show their depth. But then again, Ducks were a little injured. I don't think Eves played the last few games.
No, he didn't play the last few games. And they were beaten up before that series, so they came in battered and bruised. They played a heck of a series against Nashville.
They were due for a bad game, though.
They were.
And especially Rene, because he's played so well during these playoffs.
I just hope it was one game. I hope that they go.
It would be both.
Yeah, I hope they come around, they turn it around, they find the defensive alignment because, like I said, the Penguins are like the Cavs, where they have all these offensive weapons that can do it. I think the Penguins this year mostly are the best team on the boards playing the puck. I don't know if you agree with that. I've seen them, especially Kunitz. I saw it in the last series. He was on his knees getting cross-checked in the back, still was able to flick the puck behind him and keep it in the offensive zone. I've not seen many teams do that. I've seen a lot of teams do the drop in and then run and try to get a goal that way. Yeah. But the way the Penguins keep the puck in the zone, I haven't seen. It's finesse. It's finesse the way they do it, and I just hope that the Predators make it a series.
Well, also when you're playing with Crosby, Malkin, and Kessel, you get that much more confidence. So.
Well, don't forget Cullen, Hagelin sometimes.
Yeah, I wish.
I mean,
I'm still sour about the Rangers trading Hagelin.
You can't forget all this. You can't forget all these players that have truly cemented their name in Penguins history and their coach. I mean, who's also an ex-assistant coach of the Rangers.
Figures, right?
Yep. So I mean, you gotta kind of root for him, per se. But I think Western Conference has always been stronger. They've always been bigger. But the Eastern Conference has always had their speed, and you saw it yesterday.
No, the Eastern Conference is more competitive, in my opinion, but the Western Conference has better players.
Really?
Overall.
See, I think that's interesting because the way I've seen it is the Western Conference was always these big body, we're going to shove the puck down your throat, per se.
That's basically the meaning of the Anaheim Ducks.
Right, exactly. So you always look at the Western Conference that way. And you always looked at the Eastern Conference more finesse. More speed, more faster, like a Hagelin, like a Crosby, but never had the body. So you would always think the Western Conference would just beat you and push you off the puck enough to the point where you just got battered and bruised and you were so tired that the speed wasn't a factor. They cut off your speed. Can the Predators do that against the Penguins? I guess we'll see game 2, but we definitely didn't see it game 1.
Yeah. No, and Nashville, I would say, is the most Eastern Conference team in the Western Conference.
I see that.
Probably.
I mean, Subban is probably their biggest player, one of their biggest players, right? And he's not even that big.
I guarantee you Montreal's regretting that trade now.
Oh, absolutely. I think they regretted it right when they made it. I don't know why they made it, and that's neither here nor there. We're not GMs, even though sometimes I think we should be the way we talk hockey. But I think they really messed up on that move. There's a lot of moves that have gone on in the NHL in the last couple of years that have ruined the whole idea of players fitting on certain teams, but that has gone on in any franchise, in any sport. So
actually, look at John Tavares. Look at John Tavares. They let Okposo walk. Look what happened. They missed the playoffs.
Yeah. So I hope it's the case still. I had made Nashville Predators going in 6, winning the Stanley Cup. I hope they show up in game 2. And I hope they show that they're really there. Rennie, we're counting on you.
I also predict Nashville, but I'm very horrible when it comes to predicting a number of games that the series is going to go. So I'm just going to leave it at Nashville. Hopefully, they can do it in 5. 6 would be nice as well, but I just hope Pittsburgh doesn't get the confidence from a Game 7 because I know Predators aren't too good and have not been too good the past couple of years in Game 7s.
But as a hockey fan, you always want a Game 7. Any fan of any sport, you want a Game 7.
Oh,
you want the
absolutely.
lights.
Absolutely.
You want the intensity.
Yeah, look at Pittsburgh, Ottawa, double overtime,
There
Game
you go.
7.
Exactly.
Great game. Anyway, so that's all the time we have on the Sports Hit List today. I'm Michael Sparacino alongside my co-host Mike Phillips. We and our lovely playoff beards will see you next time.